Hello and welcome to Self-Publishing Insiders with Draft to Digital. My name is Mark Leslie Lefebvre, and I am the Director of Business Development from Draft to Digital. One of the things I take great pride in and working on this amazing, awesome team is I am the only person on the team who is not a U.S. citizen. I'm not an American. I'm actually up here in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. So I'm kind of like that little mini international, because I'm not really that far away from the States, little mini international person. But what I'm so excited about today is because we're always so US focused. We're always so North American focused in our self-publishing landscape. And I'm so excited today that we're bringing in two experts on the publishing landscape and the self-publishing landscape in the Netherlands. So we'll have access to insights that go way beyond the borders of the US and Canada and the territories that we normally focus on, which would probably include the UK, Australia, New Zealand, etc. So Maria, Petra, welcome to Self-Publishing Insiders.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, thank you.
So I think we voluntold Maria was going to go first, just to basically share so our live audience can understand. And there will be a chance for people to ask questions. So feel free to drop your questions in the comments. But Maria, a little bit about your background in writing, self-publishing, etc.
Yes, my name is Maria Staal, and I have published my first two nonfiction novels back in 2007, when everything was still, quite archaic. And I started off with a print run and had an attic full of books, as you did in those days. And in 2010, I jumped on the bandwagon, the digital bandwagon, and I have since published non-fiction books and fiction books. I write cozy mysteries and non-fiction, mostly about how to self-publish, how to market, that sort of things. They are in Dutch and in English. The cozy mysteries are in English. I have a Dutch language blog about self-publishing, and for about a year and a half, Petra and I have had a podcast about writing and publishing, and we have actually interviewed you, Mark, this year. It was fun. And I'm also the Dutch ambassador for the Alliance of Independent Authors. So.
Okay, so that's a lot to unpack before we move on to Petra. So the URL that I just popped up, and I am not going to butcher this. So if you can, so why don't you pronounce the URL for this, the website, podcast, etc.?
Yeah, this is schrijven en uitgeven.nl.
Oh my God, I could not have said it better. I could not have said it myself. Never. So we'll drop that in the comments as well, so that people can check it out. Particularly if you. So I was a guest. I was honored to be a guest this summer, I believe, this past summer, 2022, and I might have been the only English-speaking guest you've had so far, right?
Yes. So
yes.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. I want to go back to this basement full of books or whatever. So was this, how long ago was this again when you did this, and how much has changed between now and then?
That was 2007. That's it's a long time ago. And what you did then, you had a print run, because digital didn't really exist yet. Okay, ebooks existed, but not really. And so I just had 3,000 books printed, and then I went to the bookshops myself. It was a local subject, so that was lucky, and I was lucky to sell them all in about 5 years. I got rid of the 3,000 books, and by that time I started writing other books, and then it was 2010, and I realized that the UK had just Amazon UK had just come in, and KDP, you could actually publish via KDP the UK. And that's what I started to do ebooks and print books as print on demand. Yeah, that was much easier. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for clarifying on that, because it just reminds people how long you've been in this space and how much it has changed, not just in the last 10 years. Excellent. So right. Petra, how about your background in publishing and writing, etc.?
Well, I've been writing since I was 13, and mostly for myself at that point because I was way too shy to put my books out there. And I decided in 2016 that I wanted to actually publish. So since then, I've published 5 books, 5 English fantasy books. And I've also started back in 2016 a writing coach company to help other fantasy writers to write their stories. And next to that, I also do freelance work. So I'm a content writer that writes text about mindset and marketing and anything entrepreneur.
Awesome. This is fantastic. And so you both work with other writers. You both coach and support other writers, and obviously you inspire other people with your podcast. How did the two of you meet? I'm curious to hear your hero origin story here.
Shall I tell the story, Maria? we
Yeah,
actually
yeah, do please do.
we actually met on Facebook. She had the Facebook group for writers, and I went on there, and I was like, okay, Maria's apparently the host of this group, and I at one point just contacted her and said, you know what, let's grab a cup of coffee, and that was like the start of a friendship. And I think about a year and a half ago, I told her, you know, we have both the same desire to be the author, and we both had to start so am I still there? I'm here. Okay.
I
Did I
think
drop
I
off?
think you
Yeah.
broke up a little bit. I'm not sure if that was just me, but I
Yeah.
missed the last few words. If you could just repeat that, if that, please.
Yes. The cup of coffee, and then we had a friend. We started a friendship, and then about a year and a half ago, we decided we have the same idea about helping indie authors get through the writing and publishing process, because we both had our struggles, and that's how we came up with the website and the podcast, and starting to help others.
Excellent. Thank you for repeating that. I'm just going to pop up a little. We've got a hello from the U.S. From Jenny, who's
Hi,
excited
Jenny.
excited to learn more about international markets, which is really exciting. And so, if you guys watching live have any questions about international markets, please drop them in the comments. We'll get to most of those towards the end of the interview. But because I'm selfish, I want to ask my questions first. Maria, you had mentioned you were a member of like an advisor, or you work with the Alliance of Independent Authors. Is that specifically for to help Dutch language authors or authors from that region?
Yeah, I am. The Alliance of Independent Authors has ambassadors for to sort of take out the words and get in new members, make sort of promote Ally in other countries and also in America and everywhere. And I've been the ambassador for them for about 3 years or so, and I'm trying to put Ally on the map in the Netherlands and Belgium. But by the way, not only for the Netherlands, also from the Dutch-speaking part of Belgium, we also cover that bit. So it's I'm trying to be a good supporter for Ally and get as many people on board, because I love Ally. So yeah.
Awesome. I love this. So I want to lay the groundwork for. So obviously, I couldn't speak Dutch when I came on your podcast to talk about Drafted Digital and self-publishing and stuff like that. But you guys speak very fluent English, and you speak Dutch as well. Probably other languages, I'm guessing. I find a lot of Europeans tend to know at least 2 or 3 languages beyond their mother tongue. Let's talk about the publishing landscape in general in the Netherlands, because I have had some experience working with some colleagues when I was at Kobo who came from the Netherlands, came with a literary background, literary agents and representatives from the Kobo team. And I do know that, I mean, my impression of the Netherlands is, this is a country where reading is sacred, where reading is very, very valued and held in high regard. But can you guys talk a little bit about that? Because I'm trying to sort of set the scene for people who aren't familiar, the difference between, the market in North America and the UK, for example, compared to the bilingual market in the Netherlands?
Yes. Yeah, okay. I think I can take that one. If the Petra can interrupt me if she wants to say. It's I think the Netherlands is still the Dutch readers at the moment are still really focused on print books. But since the pandemic, they are getting more interested in digital reading. So they are reading ebooks, and also audiobooks are becoming more. They're getting more interested in it. And the interesting thing is that in the Netherlands we have, and I think this is quite unique here, we have a sort of national distributor for print books. It's called the CB, and it stands for Central Book House. And they've been there for decades and decades. And mostly all the bookshops, but also the online libraries and the distribution to that goes via CB. And for the for indies, it's difficult to get to get into the CB because you have to have an account there, and it's a monthly cost, and it's all in Dutch, and it's quite not handy. But luckily, there are some English ways of also getting into the Dutch markets. So there are different ways that you can use. But the CB, as a national distributor to the Netherlands and the Flemish part of Belgium, is quite unique, I think, here. Yeah.
So that, and like you said, that's not something that the average indie author can just create an account with or whatever. There's probably other channels to connect through them somehow.
Yeah. Yes. There are sort of self-publishing platforms, and there's one that has quite a few of them that have actually an account at the CB. And if it's like a bit like Kobo Writing Live, but then a Dutch Kobo Writing Live, and you publish via them, and then they sort of distribute to the CB, and the CB then distributes everywhere else. So and it's handy in a way, but in the other way, the CB takes quite a lot of the money that you end up with much less royalties actually. Yeah, in the end.
And this is for print books primarily, right? Because it is very heavy print market still,
yes.
Except maybe it started to change a bit in March 2020.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's mostly print books, and indies can have an account there, but it costs like €50 a month. So if you don't sell that, you never get out. That's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem.
And most indie authors are usually get their start with moving ebooks or before they move into print. That's usually because the path of resistance is a lot lower, right? With setting up an ebook. Okay, so let's also paint the scene in terms of the retail landscape. So you talked about CB, and that's distribution into print, and print is still, throughout Europe, actually, print is still significantly more powerful. Now, most Americans don't realize that even in the US, the print market is still 75 to 85% of the market. Most indie authors who are selling nothing but ebooks or mostly ebooks have difficulty believing that. But it's probably even more powerful, the print book market in Europe. Would you say the print book market is even a higher percentage of the overall market there?
Yeah, I don't know the exact percentages, but I do think it's higher than the ebook, definitely. But the ebooks are getting more; they are becoming more interested, and also the subscription. People are becoming more interested in subscription reading. So it's
Well, that leads to the question is, I'm aware, thanks to the partnership Kobo has with Bol, that Amazon is obviously the world's largest bookstore and is dominant in a lot of markets. But a lot of people outside of the Netherlands and maybe even Belgium, where Bol is a massive, massive retailer. Can you guys explain what this is? And then that's a great segue into that partnership, because Bol and Kobo and subscriptions is something authors are probably familiar with. Yeah. So is Amazon dominant in the market? I mean, they're
No.
there, right?
No, I think the difference is Bol started as the Dutch Amazon. You could just say it like that. Bol is really
Okay.
like the Amazon here in the Netherlands,
Okay.
and so everyone knows Bol. And Amazon, when it started here, it was .com or .co.uk, and people needed a credit card. It was a lot of hassle to get books through Amazon, so people always went to Bol. So that is in most cases the only place in people's minds where they can buy books. So, and now we have Amazon.nl, and I think it's starting to pick up that is also a possibility to buy there. But Bol is just so ingrained in people's minds, so that is just the first place people go.
So it is. It's like the natural, just like in the U.S., for example, people think to go to Amazon when they're looking for the everything store. So
Right.
Bol is not just books, though. Is Bol like a larger retailer, and they have physical locations? Plus, they got into the online space pretty early, right?
Yeah, but they don't have physical places, but they
Oh, it's
do
only
sell
online.
everything. It's only
Okay.
online, yeah, but they do sell everything. So it's just it's not just books. I think it started with just books and DVDs way back, but it now has even groceries you could buy through bol.com. So
So I can get my coffee and my books at Bol,
yeah,
and they
yeah,
just get delivered to my home. And okay,
right,
all right,
right. Not
okay,
not
all
let
right.
not as if you go to a supermarket and fill up your whole crate. It's not like that, but it's kind of the same as Amazon. The bulk things you could try to find on Bol as well. Yes.
Is it fair to say Bol is a trusted brand to people? Because you said we've known about them, we trust, like we've already shopped there, etc.
Yeah, it's very trusted. It's
Yeah.
the place to go for the Dutch people. Yeah.
Okay, which probably is why the really brilliant people at Kobo decided to partner with Bol,
Brilliant
because
move.
their mandate is, okay, Bol's selling physical goods, and Bol probably wanted to sell ebooks, and this Kobo came in and said, hey, we've got ebooks for you, let's partner. That's usually how that works in different territories. But Bol introduced something that was really intriguing, is the concept of subscription. Now, the concept of subscription reading without a demand for exclusivity, like those other guys in the River Place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what that's like, and has the subscription program perhaps introduced more readers, especially avid readers who read a lot, to the concept of ebooks in a different way?
I definitely believe that Kobo Writing Live, the Kobo Plus, it's called Kobo Plus, has made the Dutch readers more interested in ebooks, because it's an easy way for them to they pay, I don't know how much, €8, €9 a month, and then they can read as much as they like. And if they don't like something, they can put it back. Same as with Kindle Unlimited. It's I think it has put the ebooks, and now I think audiobooks are in it as well. Definitely put it on the map, because I have the Facebook group for indie writers, and quite a few of them say, yeah, I have a Kobo Plus account, and I read loads of books there and ebooks there, and that sort of thing. So I think people don't really as much buy ebooks anymore. If they just want to borrow them, like you do from the library. And I think that's very good, the connection, and that started here. They set it up here. Kobo and Bol set it up together, and now they're spreading it out over the rest of the world, I think. Yeah.
I love that. If possible, if you could drop, is the Facebook group that you have for Dutch authors, is that open? People can come and check it out?
No, it is a private group, but you can. Well, it's a Dutch language group, but people can find it on Facebook.
All right, so Dutch language folks will know how to search for it.
Yes.
And I imagine there's probably a survey that they have to fill out, so it's not just some guy like me who's going to come in and ask questions in English. Okay.
Well, you are more than welcome, Mark, anytime.
I'll have to use the little Google Translate in order to understand what's going on. Okay, so this is interesting, and yeah, you're right. Kobo Plus launched in the Netherlands, and one of the things I always found interesting is Bol is the dominant retailer. Therefore, there were a lot of customers at Bol, and potentially not as many on the Kobo Netherlands website. But getting into the Kobo Plus catalog, I always used to say, get your books into 4 different platforms. Get you into the regular Kobo catalog, the regular Bol catalog, then it gets you into the Kobo Plus catalog on Bol. They call it Kobo Plus on bol.com, right?
Yeah, they do.
and like
Yes.
powered by Kobo, and then Kobo Plus. So it's almost like you get 4 listings instead of 2 in those territories.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I would say that's what you asked before, how many people read in English and the bilingual thing. And I think quite a lot of Dutch people read in English. I mean, I read in English. So
I do.
if yeah, that's right. Yeah, Petra
too.
as well.
You
So
both read in English. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. And I think if there are English language indies that want to become more ingrained in the Dutch world, that's okay to just have it in English, because we read in English anyway.
Okay.
So it's this, so they can put their English language books into Kobo Plus, and it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, because I want to be very, very clear, is Bol is as dominant or even potentially more dominant than Amazon is in English language territories. And this is in Bol exists, as far as I'm aware, in the Netherlands as well as in Belgium, right? They have a presence in Belgium as well.
Yes.
Which means that authors who want to be successful wide, even if they're not publishing in the Dutch language, have a really great opportunity not only to make sure that they list their ebooks through Kobo, and you can do that either directly with Kobo, you can do it through Draft to Digital, through other distributors. But when you list your books to Kobo, it's probably optimum to check that little box that says, yes, put my books in Kobo Plus, because then that makes your book available to more readers. And you guys both do read in English as well.
Yeah, that's
both
right.
read and write in English. So we, yeah. And I think that's also very interesting for the international people who are watching this, because we get questions about translation and everything. And we always say, that's not the most important thing. If you just want to make a name here first, see how your English books are doing, focus on that first, and don't go into the whole translation, because that is like high costs and you don't know if you're going to succeed. Just try to find a place in the English books first. That would be our advice.
Oh, I love that advice. Thank you. And that's something you don't think about, because you're thinking, okay, I'm going to be in the Netherlands. I have to have something in Dutch. If not, I'm not going to sell. But you're saying, no, English is pretty prominent, pretty powerful. Save your money. Don't spend the $8,000 to $10,000 to get your books translated. Because,
right. It's like trying to first figure out if the market's for you, what it all entails, and you can do that just with English books. And if you're thinking, you know what, I want to expand, you can always go through for the translation, because there are, of course, people who only read in Dutch as well. So if you want to reach those people as well, then go for the translation. But my advice would not be just to first try and then do everything with translation. Just try it with English first.
I love that. Fantastic advice. And speaking of translations, I do have to pop this comment up from Jenny, who said, hello, HALLO, is not a typo. It's Dutch for hello. Now, is she correct there?
That's correct. Yeah.
She's correct. Yeah.
Say it. Hello. Is that how it's pronounced? Did I get it right?
Hello. Yeah. Hello.
Oh,
hello.
Excellent. Thanks, Jenny. See, I'm learning lots here. So the other thing, now I've heard that thrillers are significantly popular in the Netherlands. Is that still true, or was that just a rumor I heard?
I think it's true, yes. And I think romance, feel good books are very popular. I think they are the most. And then I think it's
so romance is still number one.
Still number one. Yeah, I think it's pretty similar to the English-speaking world. And then the thrillers and mystery are very popular as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got obviously, because honestly, we all want to feel good. We all want a happy ending. For God's sakes, especially the last few years, we're locked down. We're trying to read more. Let's read some happy endings. So romance, thrillers, suspense, etc. Are other genres in the top area, or are there? What else sells well?
Yeah, I think children's books are popular, and I think non-fiction books in general. Other ones, I'm not entirely sure. I think the like horror, sci-fi, and fantasy. I don't know, Petra, fantasy. Do you know anything about that? How popular that is here?
I'm a very big fan of buying books, and I buy Dutch and English books, and fantasy is completely my genre. So I can always find in English and in Dutch. But the fact is that I usually buy English because either the Dutch translation takes a long time, and then the book is already in English, and I can't wait. I just want to buy the book.
You have that benefit, right?
Yeah, or it's from a Dutch author, and then of course it's going to be in Dutch. So
Right.
I think it's also fantasy is also high, but not as high as romance and thriller. Those are really, really popular here. Yes.
Oh, this is great. Thank you. I'm learning so much. I guess the other thing, when you're talking about buying books, are you talking about buying physical books?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
No, I know. And then is it a case?
Yeah.
Is it a case where I know when I worked at Kobo years ago, I remember Kobo released a study that showed that people who read ebooks tended to read 3 times as much as they used to before when they were only print only diet, and they bought twice as many print books as they used to when they started reading ebooks. Now, do you consume a lot of books in through Kobo Plus or subscription programs, and then go back and are you buying books just to have it because you really like it and you want it on your shelf, or you're buying it for friends? How does that work?
You asking me?
Well,
Yes.
Well, I don't buy double books. So if I have bought a book on ebook, I'm not going to buy it in a physical copy unless I really, really like it. But it's also a matter of do I have space in my closet? So
Come on! I see bookshelves behind both of you.
I know.
I was just curious about that because I end up. I mean, I'm a print book hoarder. I buy a lot of print books, especially when I'm doing research. But also, even I may buy the print book so I can get it signed, or I can keep all of the nice hardcovers on my shelf. But I'll listen to the audiobook. Now, let's talk a little bit about audiobooks because I know Kobo Plus is available in audio. Is the audiobook market something that's been growing significantly in the last few years in the Netherlands?
Yeah, it is. It has definitely, and it's. I think more people, particularly because audiobooks are now on Kobo Plus, but they are also in the online library. So before they had only ebooks in the online library, but I think during the pandemic they put the audiobooks in online library as well. I think that then make them far more popular these days, than before. Absolutely, yeah. Oh. We can't hear you, Mark.
There I am with my mic muted because I was typing, and then I forgot to unmute it when I started. Thanks for letting me know. I'm just going on and on. So we had a comment asking Bowl, Bowl or Bol, how do you pronounce it? So I popped up bowl.com, and that is the website. Yeah. It's bowl.com, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
What does it stand for?
It stands for Books Online, actually.
Oh my God, books! Yeah. Wait! This is Dutch, and this is like an English language, or is BOL the same thing in Dutch? Is it?
No. It's just this is the way they wanted to have books online, and then they made this acronym for it. Yeah, that's how they started. I know 20, 30 years, 25 years ago. So yeah.
But it's also, if you say it in Dutch, it's boeken online. So it's kind of the same.
Boeken online. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that. Oh, that's so cool. Oh my God. And it is, so CB is Central Booking House. Is that?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. Central Book House, or yeah. In Dutch we say Centraal Boekhuis. But actually, the name changed already about 15 years ago, and it's CB now. But everyone still says Central Bookhouse. I don't know why. I always say CB. So it's
okay. So we know you can get ebooks. You can get into the Dutch language, or the Dutch market, the Netherlands market, I should say, through Kobo. Are there other ways to get ebooks published in the Netherlands, or? And then let's talk about how would somebody go about getting print books published in the Netherlands?
Yes. Well, ebooks are very easy because you can just do basically the same thing as that you do in the English-speaking market. So you personally, what I do, I use KDP for Amazon. I use Kobo Writing Live for Kobo, and automatically. Ebooks then also are sold on bol.com, so that goes
Yep.
automatically. And you have, and I use Draft to Digital for the rest of the world, so to speak. And that's exactly the same. For ebooks, it's basically the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So ebooks is relatively easy and simple. So most
Yeah.
people around the world, whether they're using Kobo Writing Life, Draft to Digital, or some other distributor, as long as the books go to Kobo, you're good. You're in.
Yeah,
you're in with Bol. Okay,
Yes,
it's automatic.
yes.
Okay, which is
It's
fantastic.
automatic.
And good to remind people of just how easy that is. And when you're asked about whether or not you want to be in Kobo Plus, I always recommend, why not make my books available to more readers, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I also that question I often get: do I put my books in Kobo Plus? Well, it's an extra market that you can sell. Why not? Why not?
Right. So how does that? Can I ask some personal questions? Now you don't have to give me definitive numbers, but as authors yourselves, I've noticed through my Kobo sales, both direct with Kobo Writing Life and through Draft to Digital for my payment splitting books, I've noticed that the main increase I've seen in the last several years has not been in a la carte sales of my ebooks, but has been the Kobo Plus reads. Are you guys seeing that trend as well?
Not for me personally, because at the moment my books are my non-fiction books mostly gets sold as paperbacks, and my fiction books I'm right in the middle of rebranding them, so they're not they are for sale, but I'm going to change the cover and the title, so they don't sell very much at the moment. So I don't have much to compare, and so I can't really give you an answer to that. So
okay. So, but that leads to a side question, because I was going to jump into print, but then you mentioned covers, and I said, okay, all right. So if I have a really brilliant cover, a fantasy cover, for example, or a thriller cover that works brilliantly in English language markets in North America, is there a different style of cover that's more paramount in the Netherlands?
Yeah,
Let's say for fantasy, let's start with fantasy then.
Yeah, the difference between the English market and the Dutch market is definitely you have to check the covers, because the covers in the US might not work here. So you have to do your research in order to publish it here and then also be successful. It doesn't say that it automatically won't work if you use the same covers. It also depends on your marketing strategies and everything, but there is definitely a difference, yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to advise potentially then that one of the best things for people to do is to go to bol.com, the most significant, largest online retailer, books online, I love it, in the Netherlands. And in your category, and again, you can use Google Translate, so you can actually, double check to see what you're looking at, the browse categories, and probably check the bestsellers in that territory to see what's selling well. If you wanted to do a cheat, you go to kobo.com and you just change the little flag to the Netherlands, so you can kind of see what are they merchandising, what are the best sellers there. That's probably a good way to see the difference and go, oh wait, so the fantasy covers maybe aren't all dragons and things like that, or there's different aspects to them.
Yeah, I need to add to that. If you publish in English, you keep the English covers. So
yes,
because that's the US books are also sold here with the same covers. So if it's targeted to an English audience, English written, you can usually have the same covers. But if you target the Dutch audience, then you need to check the Dutch written books, because that might be a difference. Yes.
Excellent, thank you. And I guess that leads to I'm going to get to print. I promise I'll get to print, but that sort of led to the question of how do I market? How do I market my ebooks in the Netherlands? Do I purchase BookBubs? Do I go to Written Word Media and get a bargain booksy? Or are there different marketing strategies that authors in the Netherlands that you guys recommend they use?
That is the big question indeed. Unfortunately, we don't have any BookBubs and sort of organizations. We don't have that here, which is a big problem. We really want some, because then we could sell more books in Dutch for our own market even. But we don't really. So what I always advise is make sure you get the right cover. It's basically the same. It's so that your metadata is perfect, the right cover, the right title, everything, the blurb, and just put it on there and try to get as close as you can to the right category. And that is a bit of a stretch difficulty sometimes here. But
Right.
and then just put the word out. Basically, it's one of these things. You can, of course, use Facebook ads. Quite a few people use Facebook ads here. But other ways of so bol.com doesn't give us ads. We don't have ads on bol.com.
Okay.
I think we can use Amazon ads. I don't know, but that's just for ML. I'm not sure if that works really. I don't think so. I think most people use Facebook ads here. Yeah.
Okay. And Facebook ads targeting readers, I guess, etc. Right?
Yeah.
It's also good to know that the indie authors have a bit more struggle here because, for instance, the categories, the genres are different from the US based, the English Amazon. There's loads more categories, genres there than there is in the Netherlands. So your book might be harder to find here in the Netherlands based on those categories. So we have a lot of catching up to do on several things, but hopefully what Maria and I are doing, it helps to lift the how do you say it, the
spirits.
Yes.
Okay. So does that mean, just to clarify, so for example, maybe the category might just be fantasy rather than I have urban fantasy and Petra, let's say you're writing epic fantasy or historical fantasy or something like that. Is that the case where it's just all under fantasy? So the subcategories are harder to. Okay.
Yeah, you can't really go very, very deep in the genres, in the subgenres. No.
And it's even the weirdest thing here that is still baffling me beyond belief is that they have the word novel is actually a genre here, which is really strange to me. Yeah.
Wait, so does novel
yeah.
Does novel apply to general fiction that's not a genre? Is that what a novel is?
Well, no, yeah, I think so. I'm still trying to figure it out what it stands for. To me, a novel is a book of a certain length, but here a novel is something that you read, basically, and that's the category on bol.com. So it's really that's how basic it is. Basically, you don't really have this what we have on Amazon, whatever, that you really can have the subcategories. Yeah.
Because I see beginners often put a novel on any book they release, whether it's nonfiction, fiction, or whatever, because they think it's novel and book are synonymous. It's not that, right? It's not that I can't have a nonfiction book for writers and they'll put it in novels.
Yeah. No, it's not that. It is fiction, but somehow I don't know. They don't have it. Split out as much as they do. Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, that
might
must be
be best
frustrating.
to not go into that category. Don't put your book in the category novel, because I think most writers will be very confused by that, and that it's going to be like a mishmash of all kinds of categories in there. So don't use it.
Oh my goodness, that is wow. Okay, so let's get back into primarily print is still popular there. What are some of the ways that authors can get, because you guys help right with getting print books made, right? What are some of the ways that you usually advise people to get into that, get their books distributed, and with English language market, for example, you can go through D2D Print and you're distributed through English language's largest wholesaler of print-on-demand books, which doesn't mean you're going to get your books into bookstores, but because most bookstores won't order non-returnable, but you can get listed online and people can special order them. Is it similar or harder or easier?
Harder, I think. It is similar in a way. Is that if you have Ingram Spark that does the distribution worldwide to bookstores, here we have the CB that does the distribution to bookstores. So it's a good idea to have, if you have a print book, you can. I think Ingram Spark does somehow get the book onto bol.com, but it's not always 100. It's not a fail-safe thing that you can do it. And you should try to get your books via a CB account. So there are self-publishing platforms that have a CB account, and you can use their CB account. Yeah.
You said it was 50 euros a month.
If you have one on your own, if you got one for yourself. But it will be all in Dutch as far as I know, so that's really not very handy for an English speaking. So it's easier to get via a self-publishing platform like Pumbo. It's PUMBO. PUMBO.nl. Yeah, and they are one of the biggest self-publishing platforms for print books, for print on demand. And they do the distribution to bol.com, but also all the bookstores, because they have a CB. So they have a CB account. So that's very handy to, and it's free. It's free to use. So it's
Okay. Thank you. I was just wanting to pop that up. If I spelled that properly.
Yeah.
And that's one of the self-publishing platforms to get your print book loaded to places like Bol. If you're already not getting it there through Ingram, or you're saying that potentially maybe because of that relationship that CB has as a trusted distributor, or as the monopolistic
monopoly,
Okay.
I think that makes it difficult for Ingram Spark to gain ground in the Netherlands with the bookshops and everything, because the CB is already there. I think that really is a problem, and that makes it difficult for us, because the traditional publishers they have their own CB accounts, not a problem. But for us, it was much more difficult, for the indies.
Okay. And what's the typical cost? And is this, I mean, are these platforms like Pumbo.nl? Could an English language person navigate them? Are they in both Dutch and English, or are they just in Dutch?
No. I think Pumbo is only in Dutch. I think. Yeah. So
we need to check out your website and potentially get some help from you guys, right? Is that?
Yeah.
That's right.
That's also
right.
that's also what we try when we connect with other authors, either English speaking or Dutch. Is we always say, you need to work together as indie authors, and if you want to go onto a Dutch platform and like Pumbo.nl, and you don't speak the language, try to find a Dutch writer that can help you in that process, because self-publishing is not a one-man's job. We can all do it together. That's what we advise. So
and what I like to say is the only self-publishing when done correctly is self-directed, meaning yes, I'm directing everything myself, but I'm working with professionals, I'm working with partners, collaborators, and advisors, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I also think that if there are a lot of English people who want to use the platform of Pumbo, and they get emails asking why is the platform not in English, if they get a lot of emails, maybe they'll change it into English as well. So you can always try.
That's right. The mob has spoken. Okay, so I have this very special question. Now I'm going to have to get one of you ladies to read this, because Jenny, who I guess is bilingual or trilingual, who knows? Okay, so this is a comment question from Jenny. I'm wondering if one of you can read it aloud for people who are only listening to this.
You want us to read it out loud in English?
Yes, I can.
No, read it aloud in Dutch, and then maybe you can translate it
in
for
Dutch.
us. How's that sound? Okay.
Okay, I'll read it. Yeah, it says, dank u wel, Petra en Maria. Fantastische informatie. Je hebt zoveel gegeven. Ik heb geen vragen. Veel dank. So what she writes is, thank you very much. Lots of very good information. I haven't got any questions, but thank you very much.
Oh, awesome. Cool. That's cool. Thank you. Because I would have looked at it and said, Jenny's asking something, I don't know what it is, but she was just appreciating this wonderful information. So we just have a few minutes left. And so are there any things you would advise? So for somebody who's watching this and they haven't gone into self-publishing, they haven't potentially even explored beyond the borders of the US, maybe, what's some advice you would offer to beginning writers if they're thinking about, okay, I want to do this and I'd love to be able to try and sell more books in the Netherlands?
Well, personally, I would always say just go for it, because there is a big market here for English books, as Petra said before, and just if you don't come here with your books, then you might miss out on readers and sales. That's the thing. So I think just go as wide as you can and sell as many places as you can.
Yeah.
Excellent.
and my advice would be connect with other writers, because there are a lot of companies that might scam you into paying a lot of money. If
Oh.
you're unexperienced in the publishing industry, don't give a lot of money to certain companies,
Right.
and connect with other writers and ask for advice and help. And I've always found the self-publishing community very open and honest about questions, and very helpful with advice. So that would be my advice. Don't do it alone.
Awesome. Thank you. Now, some quick questions that came in just at the very end here. Tom was asking, would you say that bookstores in the Netherlands account for 40% of book sales? Or what would that number be?
I think it's probably a little bit more. I'm not sure. It's if bookstores, as in brick and mortar stores, probably less. I think bol.com sells a lot of books these days.
Really?
It's
Okay.
yeah.
Very
Yeah, I
much
think
like
it's-
Amazon has taken a lot of that market, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Here in North America. Okay,
Yeah.
so Lexi says go as wide as you can. Music to my ears. And
Yes.
and so Jerome, I pronounced that improperly. Says Mr. Baker says, I run a small indie publishing company. My main issue is promotion, and I guess promotions is again the big challenge for everyone, right?
Mm.
Absolutely,
Yes,
yeah. And I
definitely.
think that it doesn't matter if you're English or Dutch. Promotion and marketing is the big
Right.
problem. And I think if Jeroen, I think his name is Jeroen, if he
Jeroen.
wants
Oh, thank
information,
you.
yeah, Jeroen, yeah, he can come to our website and we can help him. It's not a problem. And otherwise, he can become a member of the Facebook group, and then there's lots of information there as well.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Thank
And
you.
one advice I want to give to that
Yeah.
is that there is a difference in promotion here in the Netherlands as to the US. That
Okay.
is also because we have what's the word for it? Maria, persbericht. What is
There's
the English word for
it's
that?
now I'm blanking out.
It's
It's
Are
kind of
you
like
going to tell me it's not all about 99-cent books and cheap books? It's about quality.
no.
It's about press releases. That's
Yes.
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and that's the difference, because the Dutch are very how do you say, old-fashioned kind of. They
Okay.
try to go after the traditional publishing ways with promotion, and we are trying to teach the Dutch people that you actually have to go the English.
Okay.
Promotion way. So
Okay.
there is a difference. Just like Maria said, if Jeroen is a Dutch-speaking person, go to our website. We have a lot of information there. And if you're English speaking and you want to know, just drop us an email and we'll gladly help.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies, so much. This has been so enlightening, so exciting to get to chat with you. I know it's later, much later in your day than it is for me. So I want to say thank you for joining. Thanks for all the comments and interaction, everyone online. Don't miss us. We're here usually every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern is when we are doing dddlive.com. But if you missed the live, it's okay. We have all the episodes available over at youtube.com/draft2digital. But if you bookmark dddlive.com, that'll bring you to our Facebook page where you can find the videos. And you can also check out through our blog, draft2digital.com/blog. You can get some of these converted into audio, so you don't get to see me speaking, with the mic off, and you just see my lips moving. You just hear the silence when that's happening. So thank you, ladies, again so much for sharing your wisdom with us, and thank you guys for watching.
No
Thank you for
problem.
having us.
Happy to be here.